here's a question. How far would you go to help your kid land the job? Like maybe helping them with the application, physically driving them to the interview. Well, what about sitting in on that interview? And then maybe after they've gotten the job, showing up and lending a hand when they're falling behind on their work? What about coming to their rescue when a customer gets unruly? If some of that seems like overstepping to you, you are not alone. But apparently it's happening more and more. Experts say that employers believe intervention from parents has been on the rise since the pandemic began, leading to more hand-holding for their kids and their teens who are entering the workforce for the first time. So we want to bring in our panel to talk about this. Lifestyle and etiquette expert Elaine Swann, also chief scientist of workplace culture for Culture Partners, Dr. Jessica Kriegel. Thank you both. We'll start with you, Dr. Kriegel. Is this codependence? Is there an age limit for needing your parent to advocate for you?
It's enmeshment in the worst way for the child, because essentially the parent is creating a negative experience for that child in their workplace. I mean, it will reflect poorly on the child, even if it has nothing to do with their own desires. They're probably mortified, most of them, and they want to stand on their own, and parents aren't allowing them to do that. It's not well advised.
And not well advised. I mean,
aside from helping them in this instance and it reflecting on them negatively, you're also preventing the child from being able to act out in a positive way, to be able to speak up for themselves, to be able to really get into the workplace and thrive in this particular instance. These kids are probably used to the parents doing this, and they want them to, which is why this thing is happening. So I think that this is something that the parents are definitely doing that is not going to help this person grow up and actually be a thriving adult in society.
I mean, to that end, Elaine, how does one have to teach a child to handle these sort of grown-up problems and situations? As much as you want to shield them and prevent them from experiencing the agony of failure and difficult circumstances.
Sure. No, you have to start this at home. This type of growth starts at home. So you can't let your child not do things that are going to help them grow in an area. For example, with my daughter in high school, she had a challenge with a teacher, and most of the kids were leaving the class. They were exiting out of the class. And I said to my kid, no, you know what? Let's have a talk with this teacher. We sat down, we had a talk. I said, you're staying in this class. She stayed in that class. At the end of the school year, he was her favorite teacher. And then later on, when she got a job and had a difficult manager, she ended up being able to navigate that situation successfully, where she went from a Girl Friday all the way to the executive assistant. And I believe that is because there were instances where I said, you know what, you're going to stay here and you're going to work this thing through. So we cannot let our children not experience those difficult instances in life.
Dr. Kriegel, are there lessons that you learned from working with difficult people at a young age, whether it was a customer or a coworker, that you've carried into adulthood?
Yeah, I mean, what I learned was resilience. And that is the number one thing that you're going to need as an employee at any organization. We actually did research on the companies that thrive the most are the companies that are able to adapt, who are resilient with changing times, pivoting strategies. And so as an employee, if you have that resilience, you're going to be able to show up as a top performer. Another reason why these parents are not allowing their employees to show up as top performers by enmeshing themselves in this really kind of codependent way. I
mean, Elaine, I don't
think that they're necessarily codependent. I think what's happening in this instance is the parents, they need to just really get a life of their own and recognize that they are helping to raise this person to be a thriving member of society, but they have to figure out something that they can do for themselves. You know, too often parents live vicariously through their children, and this is not good for the kids, because when they become adults, they're not able to navigate through these situations successfully. And so I'm not sure if it's codependency or just a lack of something to do with their own lives.
And I know, Elaine, you mentioned that you're sure that these workers are mortified. I will say, when I first went to college, I missed my mama so much. If she could have been my dorm roommate, I absolutely would have taken her up on it. But I did grow. I did grow.
You just can't do it. Yeah, and kids want that. Sure,
yeah.
We want that. And I would listen. If I could have stayed there in a dorm room with my daughter, I would have. But I knew that would not happen. help her
Yeah.
be an adult.
100%. I mean, there's one more topic I want to get to, because speaking of separating work and life, does this surprise us, panel? There's a recent survey that found only 41% of Americans can completely check out of work while on vacation. So that means emails, calls, Teams chat, all of it, following more than half of you during your well-earned time off. Jessica, we'll start with you. Is this to be expected now that the rise of remote work has made it possible to be plugged in no matter where you are?
It should not be expected. It's not surprising because we are a productivity obsessed culture. And at organizations, you see lots of managers and leaders calling in from vacation, emailing people who are on vacation, and they're setting the tone for the rest of the organization. That then creates an experience for employees, a belief really that they are supposed to show up even on vacation, which is extremely negative because it leads to burnout. That's what the Great Resignation was all about. People were burned out and they had had enough.
I think, Jessica, though, that this also has to do with the employees, and more so for that, because with employees, people have a problem unplugging altogether. It's in their personal lives, and this thing has filtered over into their professional lives. So whether or not a manager reaches out to you, you do not have to respond. Just the same way as when we're in personal environments and things like that. People have difficulty unplugging and allowing themselves to be present in the moment. And I think what's happening is this is spilling over into the workplace, and management and HR and these professionals, they're taking advantage of it. So for me, I think it's really a lack of discipline on the employee's part. You don't have to answer that call. You just don't have to.
But Elaine, let me ask. I mean, everyone wants to be a team player. I mean, you want to show up and be a good employee. So in just about 10 or 15 seconds, how do you set that boundary without being like, well, I'm on vacation, don't contact me, I'm gone?
You don't respond, and you teach them how. I am an employer. I have employees. If my employees don't respond, I have to figure it out. And so with that, I'm going to pivot. I'm not going to fire them if they didn't respond on a vacation that they certainly deserved and took. So teach people how you want to work and set those boundaries around yourself, and you'll be good
and
for it.
Stop bringing your mom to work, even though you really want her to hang out with you all day and bring snacks, maybe too. Elaine Swann, Dr. Jessica Kriegel, thank you both. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, still to come on News Nation now. This volcano erupted